I wish upon a star. I wonder who you are. I wonder who you are. Swear I wish upon
Scotland's a funny place. They eat sheep stomachs of their own free will. They toss huge tree trunks for fun. The men wear skirts with no stockings in this weather. It's also home to the world's biggest monster, although nobody's actually really seen it. So is Nessie a fishy figment of imagination and a monster of marketing, or the world's most reclusive aquatic enigma? There's a haunting beauty to Loch Ness, but it's the monster myth and not the dramatic landscape that's been luring travellers since the 1930s. Nessie has us hooked, not the other way round, and you'll have no trouble finding a local to reel you in. So, Willie, your dad had the longest sighting of Loch Ness Monster, but had he also spent the longest time in the pub that day?
He had been known to spend quite a long time in the pub, but on that particular day, no, this was before he went to the pub. It was June the 15th, 1965, and he was fishing just on the other side there on the southern shore, along with a friend called Willie Fraser, when he saw something very peculiar rise off Urquhart Castle. And he watched it for over 50 minutes.
Wild salmon, Billy Connolly, Sean Connery, Celtic Football Club. A lot of great things have come out of Scotland. Of course, the Scots would argue that the greatest thing to come out of Scotland are the English. But by far, their most famous export is what ages in these barrels, whiskey. And believe me, you need to drink it to stave off hypothermia. Speyside Cooperage practices the ancient art of coopering in all its traditional glory. So how long does it take to make one of these beautiful barrels?
A new barrel can take up to a couple of days because we've got a few different processes to go through between building it, raising it.
These barrels are shipped all around the world, adding a key flavour to the beloved national drink. How does the wood affect the taste of the whiskey? Because it's a part of the process I've never thought about before.
It's an often neglected part of the whisky industry, and it's a very integral part because depending on the instructions from the distillery, whether we toast the inside or char the inside, will have an influence on the colour and the flavour.
Don't put hair on your tonsils, that's for sure. Whoa, it's lovely though.
Like it, yeah.
It is really good, but it's also quite strong.
Yeah,
I think a couple of wee drams of this and I'll be seeing double and feeling single. Edinburgh is so old, they call the Georgian part of the city the New Town. It actually lies between two volcanoes, but it only erupts with comedy, Cayleys and culture. J.K. Rowling, Conan Doyle, Robert Louis Stevenson, world-famous engineers, mathematicians, scientists, explorers. This is a little city that punches way above its weight. Although Edinburgh is a cosmopolitan city, it's still dominated by its royal history, with regal connections reaching far beyond the stately Holyrood House. It's also home to several royal warrants, establishments that have been deemed worthy of supplying goods to the Queen, like Kinloch Anderson, who provide all the royal kiltwear. And the Queen has her own special tartan, doesn't she, that nobody else can wear?
The Balmoral tartan,
The Balmoral tartan
is the private tartan of the Queen. And this is a kilt. This is a man's kilt.
It's a man's kilt.
And I'd like you to just hold it.
Oh, it's heavy, isn't it?
Quite heavy,
really
isn't
heavy.
it?
Hello, Deirdre! Cooey! Cooey, can you hear me?
That is the amount of cloth that we need to
extraordinary.
make one man's kilt.
Edinburgh is an easy city to explore, but with Scenic, you're guaranteed a charismatic local to lead you through its secret nooks and crannies. So the castle completely dominates the skyline, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
It looks almost part of the rock.
Yeah. Well, you consider that, you know, it's been there for hundreds and hundreds of years,
Yeah.
and if rocks could talk, the stories that they could tell would be awesome, you know.
Yeah.
Mary
Well-
Queen of Scots, you know, all the Stuart Kings, Robert the Bruce, William Wallace, you know, all the
The
heroes.
whole roll call of heroes.
Absolutely.
From the castle, you can join the lava flow of people pouring down the Royal Mile.
It's the Royal Mile because kings and queens went from castle to palace.
Right.
You know, and that was a connection. And for centuries it's been called the Royal Mile, but day-to-day life, Cathy, you know, emanated on this single linear street.
And for all its royal connections with people born not just with silver spoons but whole canteens of cutlery in their mouths, Edinburgh remains an earthy, warmly welcoming city. You're just a wild pack of party animals.
know,
It's so
I
much
know,
fun.
I know.
I haven't had a dance yet, though.
I know, well,
I was
we
hoping
could, we
you
could,
might
re-
give
we,
me-
could, we could remedy that.
Do you think we
you know,
could? A little bit of
absolutely.
Scottish reeling,
Well, we'll go.
I like it.